High School under the direction of Mr. Benjamin Norman, the choir teacher. And bear with me because there's a lot of big words, non-American words in here, so I apologize ahead of time. The singers performing tonight are representatives of Fleming Island Voices, the choral program of Fleming Island High School. FI Voices features 3 choirs and a small vocal ensemble. Members of FI Voices have participated in opportunities like the Florida All-State Chorus, Disney's Candlelight, and Concert on the Green. They also give several community concerts throughout the year and participate in annual choral assessments. The stated purpose of FI Voices is to build and support the artistic development of high school musicians and to foster community through singing. Tonight, Taylor Indy, sorry if I messed that up, will be performing O Mio Babino Caro by Puccini, and the small ensemble will be performing River Song by Andy Beck. They will be accompanied by Ben Beck. It's wonderful talent. Our student art showcase is Fleming Island High School, Michael Green and Julie Brennan art teachers. The 2D and 3D art programs at Fleming Island High School offer students hands-on experience in both ceramics and drawing and painting. In ceramics, students learn hand building, glazing, and sculptural techniques to create functional and sculptural pieces. Drawing and painting classes focus on the elements of art and principles of design, while encouraging creativity through different media and personal expression. As students advance, they refine skills and build portfolios and can even earn college credits through the AP art classes. Both programs emphasize creativity, problem solving, and critical thinking, giving students opportunities to showcase their work and to grow as a person and an artist.
Madam Chair, I just want to say that was the most beautiful thing I've heard all year. I absolutely love that.
It's great talent. I wish I could sing, but I'll spare all of you. Pastor Mason Dorsey from Trinity Community Church in Fleming Island, if you don't mind coming forward to lead us in the invocation and Pledge of Allegiance.
Well, let's pray together, church. Lord God, thank you so much for this awesome school year and the great start it's off to. God, we thank you so much for those that serve on the school board and for the ways that they support the administrators and the staff and the teachers of all the schools. And God, we thank you so much for the investment of time and energy and love that that the administrators and staff and teachers of the schools pour into the students. And God, we thank you so much for the support that the students' families give to the teachers as well. And God, we just ask and pray that over this next school year, students understand more about who they've been created to be. They understand their gifts, their talents, their abilities. They grow in knowledge and in wisdom, and they become a blessing to all those around them. Thank you, Lord God. Amen. So if you now join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. At this time, I call to order the meeting for September 4th, 2025, and I would like the record to reflect that Ms. Gilhausen is not present with us. Welcome, citizens of Clay County. I want to take the opportunity to thank you for taking the time out of your busy schedule to attend tonight's school board meeting. This meeting is our opportunity as your elected representatives to collaborate openly and make decisions that will decide the future direction of our public schools and the education of our children here in Clay County. If you wish to address the board on an agenda item, there will be an opportunity to speak for 3 minutes. Please fill out a card located at the side entry door indicating the specific item, number, or topic you wish to speak about, and turn it in promptly to one of our officers. If you have items that you would like to present to the school board or superintendent, please hand them to an officer who will distribute them accordingly. Speakers who wish to address specific agenda items will be heard following the recognition and awards portion of the meeting. Speakers wishing to address non-agenda items will be heard following the adoption of the consent agenda. No additional cards will be accepted once the board moves to the public comment section under the presentation from the audience. Your participation is welcomed and appreciated. Up first, we have Mr. Matt Boyack, Director of Safety and Security for our Florida Safe Schools Assessment Tool Findings.
Good evening. I'm Matthew Boyack, Clay County District Schools School Safety Specialist, 925 Center Street, Green Cove Springs, Florida. In accordance with Florida State Statute 1006.1493, all districts must complete a school security risk assessment of each campus. Districts must ensure that said SSRAs are submitted to the Florida Department of Education Office of Safe Schools through the Florida Safe School Assessment Tool by October 1st of every year. On August 26th, I provided recommendations to the superintendent superintendent and the district school board in a closed session which identified strategies and activities the school board should implement in order to address the findings and improve school safety and security in Clay County District Schools. The purpose of my speaking here tonight is twofold. One, to notify the public, superintendent, and school board that all school security risk assessments have been completed and will be submitted to the state before the October 1st deadline. The other reason I am here tonight is to report back last year's Office of Safe School visit totals and the total number of visits we had with no deficiencies. I am proud to say that we had 24 visits from OSS auditors last year, and 20 of those visits were perfect with 0 deficiencies. This results in an 83.3% pass rate for the 24-25 school year. I want to thank each school administrative staff for their thorough and diligent efforts throughout the process. I also want to thank the school board and superintendent for their insight, guidance, and support along the way. I can truly say that the safety of our students is the #1 priority here in Clay, and I am proud of the steps we have taken and will continue to take to keep our schools safe. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Boyack. He does a great job. And next up, we have Mr. Tom Pittman, principal for Fleming Island High School, for our school showcase.
Also with me, Thomas Pittman, 2233 Village Square Parkway, Fleming Island, Florida. I'm honored to be up here today to give you a look at Fleming Island High School. I'm also here with Miss Brittany Senna, one of my team leaders. She's an assistant principal at Fleming Island High School. I'm also would like to know that we are in a good place in Clay County. This is a good school district. I am a proud graduate of Orange Park High School. Went to Grove Park Elementary, Orange Park Elementary, Orange Park Middle School, Orange Park High. Worked here in the district for 32 years. I've raised 2 kids and put them in this school system for a reason. There's a reason I live in Clay County. It's a great, great school district. What we're about to show you is, I can take some credit for it because I am the principal, and as Mr. Brodsky always says, there's no excuses. But I cannot take all credit. It's an amazing leadership team that I have, faculty, support staff, students, and parents. That is what we're about to show you on the next few slides. And how do you turn this thing on? Green button. Oh.
You keep,
Now I go
okay.
So Fleming Island High School these past 18 years has been an A school. We've been a top 10% in the Florida public schools in the last 2 years since 2023. So you have about over 500 high schools in the state of Florida. We've ranked in the top 50. That includes all high schools in the state of Florida. We had our highest school grade 2 years ago. Over the last 5 years, we've increased our proficiency with our SWD students and ELA by 11%. 2 years ago, we increased our school grade at a high school level 90 points. That's huge, huge. I mean, so, we're outperforming neighborhood district schools that have a fraction of our economically disadvantaged population percentage. So what I mean by that, real quick, is we went and we looked at schools around us that have some similar demographics. A couple schools in St. Johns County, we are operating at about a 25 to 30% free and reduced lunch here at Fleming Island High School. We are outperforming schools that have less than 10% in other districts around this area. So very, very proud of that. Last year, we had 212 industry certifications. We administered our Cambridge program, which is a college-bound program, 1,200 exams with over 89% pass rate. For every exam that's passed, these students are getting college credit. It's also generating money back into the school district and our schools through the state of Florida for our students to be successful. We also have the AP Capstone program. We had over 8,000 of those at a 79% that's run through College Board. So if these students come through with an AP Capstone diploma or a Cambridge diploma, they are guaranteed 100% Bright Future scholarship without necessary SAT or ACT score. So that is huge in the parents' wallet. That is huge. That's a big accomplishment. All of our high schools in the Clay County do now have the Cambridge program and access to the AP Capstone program, and all schools in Clay County are doing a tremendous job with that. Areas of opportunity for Fleming Island High School. We are doing well, and we're very proud of what we do, but there is always room for improvement. If you sit on your rear end, you're going to get passed by, and we don't want to do that. So we want to continue to close the gap with our SWD population, and you can read this here. Continue to improve our instructional practices with collaborative planning. You know, one of the biggest things that we've had with collaborative planning is our weekly PLCs. It is huge. You know, 5-6 years ago is when they started instituting it. We had a little bit of pushback on PLCs. Everybody didn't really know, but I know at our school, our teachers have thrived in it. Our scores have been driven, and they just continue to go better with those weekly PLCs. It's an opportunity for our teachers to get together and do well and collaborate. And I sit in there, they talk about certain student work. They talk about, you know, how can we teach something if teacher A is getting a really good point and getting a point across on a you know, a benchmark, but teacher B is not. They collaborate and figure it out. And we also want to continue attendance monitoring, you know, with the parents in the schools, and positive reinforcements are things that we do. So as you just saw, our chorus and performing arts just performed. Last year they had 1 all-state, 15 all-county, 4 superior soloists, and 3 concert on the green winners. The soloist that you saw was a concert on the green winner last year. They also received superior ratings on their choral assessment. And our band last year was Class 5A Marching Band State Champions. The only band in the state to have more than 1 concert band have superior ratings. So we are a well-rounded school, allows students the opportunity, not just academics, but to do things outside of the classroom to perform and become a better citizen. So once we mold them, they can go off and be a productive citizen once they have that high school diploma here from Clay County Schools. But we don't want to leave out athletics either. That is also a huge part of what some students do. And so if you can see, I'm not going to read all of this, but we had a lot of accomplishments this past year in athletics. The biggest thing that sticks out to me there is that overall GPA. All of our athletes had a 3.457 GPA combined. So, you know, it takes a lot to, you know, perform on the field, but if you don't perform in the classroom, then you're not going to be able to be successful. And college coaches will, they will just mark a big black line from you if you don't have that GPA. So that's something that we do, and we take a lot of pride in. And that's it for Fleming Island High School, just in a blue. But if you want to talk Fleming Island High School or Clay County Schools, call me up. I will sit down and talk to you. And you know, I have a lot of history, you know, from Fleming Island High School, but also Clay County Schools, being in the county since 1977. So, all right, thank you so much for allowing me to present to you guys tonight, and hopefully you guys have a great board meeting.
I'm gonna come visit you this month and we can talk. He said, no. No. Last call for comment cards. And at this time, none up here are for agenda items. So we're going to go ahead and start. Okay. So you guys will be after the agenda. Okay. All right, so there is no human resource special actions A or B. So can I get a motion to adopt the consent agenda?
I'll move to adopt the consent agenda.
I have a motion from Ms. Hanson. Can I get a second?
Second.
I have a second from Mr. Alvaro. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries 4-0. All right, at this time, we will be taking presentations from the audience. And first up is Mr. Friedman. Ms. Torres, you're on deck. And please remember to state your name and your address.
Good evening, Bruce Friedman, address on file.
Can you hit the button?
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Thank you, Bruce Friedman, address on file. During the course of the last 3 years, I've been here almost every month to identify the lack of oversight that led to the libraries being filled with pornographic materials. To date, been instrumental in removing 725 titles that violate law. One of the things that brought me to this battle is not porn at all. In fact, I think it's a much bigger threat to the children than the porn itself. And that is critical race theory. The book I'm going to discuss with you tonight does not include a particularly large number of bad words. It's not all that profane. What's critical about it is that it wound up as part of a purchase bundle that you used to open Spring Park Elementary K-6 school with little innocent kids that deserve better than this. This book is called You Don't Know Everything, Jilly P. by Alex Gino. I have challenged the work of Alex Gino in the past. Someone should have caught on to that from your team and gone to look at everything else he wrote. But all right, this one once again fell to me. In my opinion, this book is an intentional threat to racial harmony and societal order. I'm going to read some things from the book. You won't need to turn off the mic. Parts of the book. Justin and Jamila aren't safe because they're black. Black kids get shot all the time, fatally shot by police. In this case, there's a reference to an event in the book where the police shoot a young deaf girl 7 times in the back. Jessica was killed. The cops shot her for just running down the street. Because of police, she is gone. It could have been me. Everyone should be safe, but they're not, especially people who are black. Acknowledge the 7 bullet wounds, killed by a cop, killed by police. The mother speaks. They took her from me, shot her, and killed her. Jessica and other victims of police violence, people who have been killed because they were black, hurt by police, shot by a cop. Black kids keep getting shot. You get the idea. I'm going to stop here. It ends with white readers learn about their privilege. Anyway, it's not a privilege to have to read this book. It's not a benefit to children, white or black. It does nothing to promote harmony in this community. This book never should have been purchased. So who's responsible? All of you. That's all I've got to say. Do better. Come up with a plan that prevents this from getting in the hands of our kids. Have a good night.
Ms. Torres? Mr. Warren, you will be after Ms. Torres.
Sheila Torres, address on file. So one of the things I wanted to discuss with you guys or bring to your attention, if you guys don't know, I'm one of the many parents that have multiple kids in this district. And what seems to be going on is that you guys implemented the application rooms, which honestly to some parents is giving an issue, including myself. When I get PF files from the teachers, I have to basically adjust or go into a computer in order to see what she sent. Now, if I can get that paper, better for me. The whole reason why you guys asked us to download Room is because it was easy communicable, easy access to the teachers, the admin, the staff, and so forth, right? But it's kind of funny that I have 3 kids, and now 3 of my kids, 2 of them are high school, and I only got certain teachers on it. I don't have the teacher that they are scheduled with, at least on this quarter or the following quarter, neither for none of my high school kids. only 2 of them. To me, that's a problem because if you rushing us, oh, download this and the third, because it be application that is accessible to the staff and they'll put out information, whatnot. I'm not getting that information, and I'm not the only parent because I'm tired of hearing parents talking about this room is supposed to help us, is not doing it, is making our job more difficult. We can't see PDF out, we can't do this, we can't do that. I can't access the teachers that my kids are in the class. That's a problem because the district is paying for an app that doesn't work. Now, I also downloaded the Chipmunk app that does not work, that does not show me the bus moving in real time or whatever the case might be. Another thing, too, is that we actually no longer are doing cash in none of these schools or the events. We have to pay by card. So when we pay by card, the school bucks itself take 5% out of everything that is processed in itself. So if you pay $1, what is it? 5 cents. To you guys, it might not seem nothing, but if you look at all the school within the district going through school bucks and paying that, it adds up. Those 5% difference that coming out of every payment through school bucks can actually go be beneficial for our kids. We don't see that money. We're losing money. Then when we go to sporting events, we got to pay for with cards and everything, and then we are asked to pay a convenience fee. That is an issue. I'd rather have an option, not, oh, you have to pay by card, you have to do every transaction by card. No, I want an option. I want options to be paying by card and making sure that any fundraiser, anything that is being done for the school goes for the school itself, not for the vendor, not for the district itself, to line their pocket, none of that. I want the stuff to actually work. I don't want to pay for apps. I don't want the district to pay for apps for stuff that does not work because that's unnecessary spending, and that unnecessary spending can go for something that is beneficial for the kids, the equipment, the jersey, the coaches, anything in
Thank you,
itself.
Ms. Torres.
Have a great day.
Up next, Mr. Warren.
Good evening. Adam Warren, addressed on file. First and foremost, I just want to make sure, praise Argyle Elementary. Miss Dorsch is doing an amazing job. I think they were represented last month. I hate I missed that. Also, Miss Auguste at the junior high, just an amazing turnaround. There's a lot of great things going on there at Orange Park Junior High. And then, obviously, Mr. Gunder at Orange Park High, amazing. So those 3 schools, I'm affiliated with them because I have kids there. All top-notch leadership going on, and so there's definitely some praise there. The lady that just spoke, she kind of stole some of my thunder. I was going to speak on the GoFan app again. I mean, she mentioned 5%. The GoFan, it's $1.25 you guys are losing. I spoke on it last year. I was obviously given an option to go to the school and pay cash on a time that they had allotted, which that wasn't the point. It was the point that you guys are paying somebody else $1.25 for not just the whole transaction, it's every ticket that y'all are letting somebody else make $1.25 on. And that is a ton of money that you guys are just leaving on the table. I had the math last year. You guys need to run the numbers. You were talking about budget cuts, and it's a lot of money. The other deal, we switched from Here Comes the Bus. It was actually starting to work a little bit towards the end of the school year. I think we finished the school year pretty strong, at least the way I felt. Switched this Chipmunk, and it has been an absolute disaster. Kids, we're not getting robocalls. We have no clue. We're not getting the notifications. We calling in. We were told that you guys made the decision not to have robocalls any longer. Y'all chose an option not to have that. 2 weeks in, they started doing those again, but then they couldn't tell us the actual bus number. So now we have junior high kids standing out at the bus stop. Last week, there was one instance where they stood there for 45 minutes. And unless I had been sitting there to tell my daughter that what bus number, the kids had no clue because the app didn't tell them the bus. So 45 minutes late the bus was, and they're supposed to just trust what bus pulls up and says, hey, you get on this bus. That's dangerous. That is a huge, huge, huge lawsuit that's potential, that I feel like just the danger of having these kids stand out there, no clue what bus is coming, and they're told just to get on the bus because this is your bus. The app does not tell us, like I said, the bus number, 45 minutes late. doesn't track well, and it looks very childish, this Chipmunk app, when you compare it to Here Comes the Bus, because Here Comes the Bus is still working. It looks very childish. And I also ask, why do we have somebody over transportation that potentially is not driving buses? I called 3 different times 2 weeks ago, different times, and I was told that they were short bus drivers, but the leader was not on a bus. If he's not capable of driving the bus, he shouldn't be over the department.
Kelly Stoudner. Am I butchering that? Okay.
Kelly Stadnauer, 1500 Calming Water Drive, Unit 5001, Fleming Island. Good evening. I am speaking to you on behalf of teachers of Clay County, my family, and my debt collectors. I wrote to you last year as my youngest son was diagnosed with a rare kidney disease called C3 glomerulonephritis. With 12 years experiencing in teaching and a master's, I currently bring home $1,850 every 2 weeks, or $44,400 a year after health insurance for myself and my children are taken out. We have the lowest cost plan, so the out-of-pocket expenses cause many sleepless nights. Some offer the advice of upgrading our medical plan, which sounds great until one does the math. According to Zillow, the average rent in Clay County is $2,000 a month. Housing expenses are almost half of our yearly pay for the disposable income, bringing it down to about $20,000 a year. The average vehicle payment for a used car in Florida is $6,000 a year, an additional $2,000 a year to insure that vehicle, leaving teachers with a disposable income of $12,000. The average family in Florida spends $1,000 a month or $12,000 a year on groceries. We're now at $0 balance for the year without including gas for the car, utilities, out-of-pocket medical expenses, presents for birthdays or Christmas. Florida is not only the lowest paid state for teachers, but our pay has actually decreased 12.9% since the 2014-2015 school year when factoring in inflation. I ask the school board members to keep in their hearts and mind how much the teachers of Clay County are struggling as teachers' salaries are negotiated. Thank you.
Mr. Major Matt Weber.
Ladies and gentlemen, good evening. My name is Major Matt Weber, and I'm the commanding officer of the Marine Corps Recruiting Station, headquartered in Jacksonville, but we got an office here in Clay County. Sergeant Clark is my direct representative in the area over at 2143 Lockrain Boulevard. First and foremost, I'd like to thank you all for your time this evening. My objective today is simply to thank you and highlight some of the great accomplishments of some of the students that you all have here in Clay County. In the past year, 29 young men and women have made the admirable decision to join the United States Marine Corps and earn the title of United States Marine. As of this morning, we have 30 more young men and women getting ready to step off to recruit training, including 2 that will be going out up to Parris Island in South Carolina next week to earn the title Marine. We also offer multiple paths to becoming a Marine Corps officer, including through our Naval Reserve Officer Training Corps scholarship program. So in the past 3 years, in the about 40,000 square mile area that we cover, all the way down from Daytona Beach up to Albany, Georgia, we have awarded $4.7 million in scholarships, including $180,000 that has gone to a Clay County student. As a recipient of that scholarship in 2011 through the University of Pennsylvania, I cannot speak highly enough of that program and have a deep interest in expanding that opportunity to more students of Clay County. And just finally to close, I meet a lot of young folks in my line of work here as the commanding officer of Marine Corps recruiting. And every single day, every single interaction I have, I am deeply, deeply impressed with the maturity, the professionalism, just the way that these young men and women uphold themselves. And I know that that is absolutely the result of your dedication to their education and the teachers and staff that y'all have here within Clay County. So I thank you for that, and I thank you for your time this evening.
Thank you, gentlemen, and thank you for what you do. Miss Sarah Harrison.
Hi, Sarah Harrison, 2011 County Road 209B, Green Cove Springs, Florida, 32043. I am here on behalf of Patterson Elementary's PFA. We have a very active PFA. Superintendent Borowski has been to many of our events before. We have lots of parent involvement. We're running into some issues recently with the new vendor forms. Our PFA raises money for numerous things. We've provided tables in our courtyard. We've provided noise control panels in the cafeteria. You guys cut PENDA this year. We provided PENDA for our 4th through 6th grade students again. All of this has been money fundraised by parents and students. In order to continue to do that, we have to be able to fundraise. We have an ice cream social coming up next Friday. We can't even go buy pizza right now. We have the money that belongs to the parents and the students, but Domino's is no longer a vendor in our system. All of the vendors that were vendors last year have to be re-entered and have to fill out new vendor forms. The new vendor forms aren't, they go above and beyond what Domino's would need to fill out. Things like getting a check in 45 days. There's no pay upon receipt. They're requiring COI insurance, vehicle insurance, all sorts of things. And I know there are some waivers for that, but it's still way more information than Domino's wants to fill out just to be a vendor to buy a pizza. We've run into the same thing with Texas Roadhouse. We do a lot of fundraisers with them. We can't do those this year because we can't get them entered into the system. So we're just asking that either some of those restaurant vendors that we deal with that were vendors for years prior be added back into the system so that we can continue to fund things for the school that you guys have not been able to fund this year, and we're stepping up and doing that. Or come up with a separate vendor form that's easier for those sorts of businesses that aren't coming onto campus. We're not signing contracts with them. We're not doing anything. We're just going out and trying to buy pizza to resell. So we just ask that you guys please look into that, and hopefully sooner rather than later, because it's a ongoing current issue right now. Thank you.
I'm going to ask that some of you that spoke earlier to stay and listen, because our superintendent is going to address some of these issues, especially vendor and fundraising. We have had some policy changes that will help with fundraising, but I believe the vendor issue has been addressed. So he's going to give you an update on that. Last up is Miss Kawana Hawthorne.
Hi, Kawana Hawthorne, 2121 Berwick Avenue, Orange Park, 32073. My issue with Orange Park Junior High School, my daughter's in 8th grade, is the transportation. This year, unfortunately, she was unable to ride the bus for the 8th grade year due to the, I guess, the distance, the ratio or the time. So if you look at my address where I live at the Alexander Point Apartments. That's a 45-minute walk. She can't walk that far. That's very unsafe. We have unidentified sex offenders and predators in the area that's unidentified. And I feel like it's a safety hazard. We do not have no type of crossing guard besides the high school, and that's it. There's 3 lights that she has to walk down, go straight down to a road. There's no crossing guard on each side at all, going to the 7th and 8th grade school to Orange Park High School. I feel like that's the vote that with decision making was it's just unbelievable. I don't feel like that if you want to deliberate a vote like that for a 7th, 8th grader, age 11 to 13 years old to walk that distance, put yourself in their shoes. Did you walk that distance before you made that vote? No, I don't think you haven't. You got to think about your grandkids, your great-grandkids, your niece and nephew. You got people not paying attention when they driving. Recently this week, I seen someone in their mirror shaving, put on lipstick, eyelashes. There's nobody's watching. It's very unsafe for my 13-year-old walking 45 minutes to school, dehydration. She's tired by the time she get to school. What I supposed to think? What that mean? Did y'all think about that before y'all made that decision? No school, no bus coming that way. Last year she was in 7th grade. She rode the bus. This year's a different decision. I don't think that decision vote was very smart on my behalf. And I'm representing the 7th to 8th grade parents at my complex right now. It's very unsafe. Like I said, you have unidentified sex offenders. You got people are snatching kids and murdering kids, raping kids, whatever case may be, every day. Think about this decision, and can we please get the buses running back at Orange Park High School Junior for the 7th and 8th graders? Thank you.
All right, Miss Kidwell, it's your time to shine.
So good evening. Ms. Watt is going to share with you some information which I'm going to refer to later. Thank you. Good evening, members of the school board and superintendent. I'm standing up here today with some teachers who came to the school board meeting. They wanted to show you that they really support us in bargaining. I want to take these 3 minutes to share the concerns of our teachers. Bargaining has begun, and at the first bargaining meeting, Ms. Posey presented a recap of the gloomy budget outlook. We were promised a meeting to address our questions this week, but were notified on Tuesday that financial leaders would not be meeting with us to answer questions as promised. We were told that some information we had requested should be available after September 11th. CCA has been requesting millage expenditure, fund balance details, and other budget information for many months. We all understand that this is a difficult budget year in Clay County. However, we also know that financial disclosure is a legal requirement necessary for bargaining in good faith. Clay County spends its millage funds on safety, security, and other operating expenses. No part of our millage funding is dedicated to competitive salaries. Yet teachers are seeing the surrounding counties funding school safety and competitive salaries supplements through their millage funds. And these teachers are asking us the obvious questions. If other counties can prioritize both school safety and competitive salary supplements with their millage, why can't Clay County? What operating expenses are being placed above retaining and valuing our educators? It is the responsibility of CCA to ask these hard budget questions. We are committed to negotiating the best compensation possible for our dedicated educators. We believe committing a portion of the millage funding is essential to keep Clay competitive, stable, and strong. CCA has a list of budgetary questions, and we've shared them with you. I want to ask you to look at that budget folder, if you would, on page 1, and pay attention to the administrative growth from 2015 to the present. Data shows that while student population grew 7%, 53% increase in administrative staff. Why? It also shows, we also have the district summary budget in there, you'll notice. Administrative lines show an increase of $700,000 for the administrative line, while instructional appropriation decreased by over $25 million as compared to 24-25. So again, we're asking why. It's up to us to ask those hard questions. We want to draw your attention to page 3. And I see that I'm about to be out of time, but I want to ask you to look carefully at the millage that's being put into the fund balance, and note that that rollover increases to over $9 million for the end of this year. Our teachers are not asking for luxuries, as you heard earlier. They're asking for fairness, respect, and recognition for that they are the foundation of the success of Clay County schools. I ask you please to look through this information with diligence. Feel free to call if you have questions. We hope to have a sit down with finance soon to get some answers. We just need clarity and transparency. Thank you.
Mr. Lonnie's not here, correct? Okay. Mr. Superintendent.
All right, awesome. So let me go ahead and today we have a brief update here, so then I'll answer some questions at the end that were brought forward. Let's see, maybe not.
Can you guys hear him? Your microphone, I don't think's working.
It's on. Hello. Better? Okay. So we're going to talk a little bit about the start of the school year, as well as college and career night, special programs in September, fast testing, and schools of the month nominations. It's not working, Kelly. Yeah, that's it. The on button helps. So the start of the school year, just a couple quick recaps here, because this is the first meeting since school year start. Once again, the two new buildings at Lake Asbury Junior High and Oakleaf Junior High, 32 classroom wings. I would just say that I commend the board for their fiscal conservative approach, because remember, we took care of growth in two areas. To build a new school would have cost more than to build these two options. So fiscal conservatism definitely on display, but more important than that, fantastic for students. What a great place for students to learn. Full state-of-the-art technology within all of those buildings. Really is gorgeous in both Scorpio and Parish Construction. Parish McCall did great jobs and great works. How about kids smiling? That's really what it's all about. Like the singers that we heard at the beginning. Kids were smiling. I tell you who else was smiling? Parents were smiling as they dropped the kids off for school. Nothing like the first day. Always brings excitement. I never sleep the day before because I'm always thinking, okay, what part of my job is to worry, right? So I'm always worried, like what's going to happen. But at the same time, it's the excitement of it all. It never gets old either. The excitement of it. You can see the families there excited to bring their kids back to school. I often tell the story of the parents that were giving each other high fives as they dropped their kid off and were no doubt going home to celebrate the start of the school year. There's also traditions that happen within schools. Fall sports definitely is one of those. You can see that the startup of fall sports. You know, school is more than just English, math, science, and social studies. I know it's hard for you to hear that from superintendents, but really it's also an experience. And when I think back at my high school days, if it wasn't for sports, I probably wouldn't have done as well as I had, because I was motivated by the coaches and other people that were influential in my life. College and career night, we had that this week. It was fantastic. All those representatives, you can see NEFPA there, who did a great job with our CTE programs. But there was colleges, there was different employers, because at the end of the day, students are either going to enlist, enroll, or be employed, right? They only have three options when they get to the end of their high school year. I did see a lot of parents that were walking their child around like trying to shop a job. Like, hey, like you're getting out of the house after this year. You're a senior, it's time to make a decision, it's time to move on, and those types of things. An event like this one, our CTE department did a great job with that, and appreciate everybody that went out there to support. Fast testing, you know, Florida is the only state in the nation that has a system of testing that goes 3 times in the year with a baseline testing, which happens at the beginning of the year, then a mid-year to measure growth, and then an end of the year what's called PM1, PM2, and PM3. But PM3 is the one that you see that counts for school grades. Kind of makes sense. It's kind of like this the final exam, if you will, over the course of a school year. So all of that is going on right now. I don't know if you can see that, but the 8th grade math problem, I looked at that and I thought, I wonder if people know how stringent the example are. So when you look at it, why don't we just ask the crowd? What is the correct answer to the 8th grade math problem? It is the first one. And I'm not sure if we were all honest and we were all looking at this, I bet you many of you would say, I don't know, right? Because that certainly would have been my answer to that, right? So the point I'm trying to make is simply that it's very rigorous what we expect students to be able to do. It's not like a cakewalk, if you will. I wanted to talk a little bit about how parents can get involved with this, right? Because parents, it'd be great for you to monitor how your students are doing so you can provide them with some help along the way. You can see all of your child's stuff by doing the following. We'll make this an easy couple-step process. Step one, if you log into Parent View, right? If you log into Parent View, there's a screen that looks like that. You can see where the circle is now. You're looking for a code. It'll be a mixture of numbers and letters there. Okay, so once you grab that code, you can write it on a sticky, whatever you got to do to remember it. But then if you go to the family portal, which you can see that on the left-hand portion of the screen, you only need 3 bits of information. The code you just got, your child's date of birth, and your child's first name. You put it in there, and then the state of Florida actually did a wonderful job on this portal. It gives parents all kinds of information that I would encourage you to seek out about your child's performance, how they're doing in each standard, each band, all over the place. It actually goes back even years. So you can see your child's progress through years of that and see how your child is actually doing. Special programs, it's Hispanic Heritage Month from September 15th to October 15th. Heroes Day, September 11th. Everybody out there, red, white, and blue on that day, district-wide. Civics and U.S. government students and others receive instruction on the history and significance of 9/11. It's hard to believe, what is it, 24 years, if my math is correct? It's that long ago, and it seems like it just happened not that long ago. But as time goes on, people forget. So it's important that we teach these things within our school system. And we do have a very proud and robust civics program. How about this? Dads, take your child to school day. September 19th is the day. Now I'm just going to say, I'm going to brag a little bit on my dad who's deceased, but he drove me to school every day, right? So take your dads to school day. It's important, the role of dads in society. And so this is just one day to celebrate it, but I'm hoping it's more than one day in practice with dads. The importance of dads shouldn't be understated. As a dad, I'll say that. Celebrate Freedom Week coming up on the 22nd through the 26th. You can see all of that. It culminates at the end. There's Constitution, Declaration of Independence, Freedom Friday on February 26th. We really do a good job. The social studies folks do a great job of promoting this with our students and making sure that students know the importance of the Constitution in everyday life in the United States. Schools of the Month, we're kicking that back up again. Thank you so much to Community First for bringing great community partners with us. Here are the months. So September is warm and welcoming, described at school fosters an inviting atmosphere, and you can see what each month is. Upcoming events, Founders Month, 9/11, U.S. Constitution Day, Dads to School, Celebrate Freedom Week. So before I do that, let me kind of address a couple of issues. One, the vendor update. We believe that we resolved that for the Layford Patterson. In fact, this particular issue was so concerning, and we did hear from other folks. We actually put our our top person in charge, our second in charge, right below me in the hierarchy is Mr. Daly, and he's intimately involved in this. I'm going to have him reach out to you on Monday personally to see what your issue is related to that. When it comes to transportation, let me just say, no doubt, you starting the school year, rough things happen. We did a whole workshop on it, last workshop, kind of explaining what had happened in the workshop, and our transportation department was there to kind of explain. But yeah, the Chipmunk app crashed on the very first day. It worked all summer long, was flawless all summer. And then when everybody across the state went onto the server all at the same time, it crashed. And so that the company made good on getting it back up. For those people having issues with that, we do have some transportation folks in the back to help out. And I know that in several cases, they've had 2 or 3 conversations related to transportation. When it comes to the 2.0 miles, that is the statute regarding transportation to schools. So if you feel like it's a hazard for your child to walk that distance, there's a process. It's called hazardous walking condition. You simply complete that. We've done well over 100 hazardous walking condition evaluations to make that determination. The statute has very strict criteria as to what constitutes a hazard for students to walk to school. We follow the statute. If it is a hazard, then transportation is provided. If it's not a hazard, then the person's always welcome to put in for a courtesy rider. At this time, if there's room on a bus, we evaluate that, and we would then classify you as a courtesy rider to allow you to ride the bus. So that's kind of the process related to that. As far as teacher salary, I would just say we'd all love to pay teachers and all of our employees more money. So we look forward to the collaboration related to that. There is no doubt, and you've heard me speak publicly many times about the current state of the budget and the amount of funding that we've received from the state versus the amount of expenditure that we have. And there's no doubt that things are tight related to that. But the desire to do that is present of everyone up here on the dais. So I think I addressed most everything. So thank you, Madam Chair.
All right. Do we have any school board attorney remarks this evening? Okay. And we'll start with board members. Mr. Alvaro, would you like to go first? Sorry. I tried to skip out of order so it's not a surprise.
I would like, can you hear me, guys? I would like to say that when I run for office last year, one of the things that I run on was our children's safety and also our teachers' salary, right? So I, right here, compromising myself to support if the citizens of Clay County decided that we can get some of the percentage from the mileage to pay the teachers, I will support that decision. So we can get more money for you guys. All depend on the citizens of Clay County, but I will support it if they do. Also about transportation, well, we're gonna work with people the best we can. Just bring your concerns to us and we're gonna work in case by case. But my proposition is use also the mileage money to be able to fix transportation if possible. That's what I was going to propose when the time comes. Because in my opinion, these little details, this mile and half a mile that we do, and these details we got with a population is what make Clay County great. And if I can fix it, if we can fix it as a team, we will. Thank you.
Ms. Clark?
If you'll bear with me for a couple of items. I had the pleasure of going to the Farm Bureau event, annual event, and where we celebrate our FFA students, their scholarships. And get to see how charitable Clay County citizens are. I think we raised $7,400 just from cake sales. That was unbelievable. And that went towards scholarships. And as far as the auction items, I don't think I've got a number on it, but that goes towards our pantries at our schools to help the children that need help. But it's always rewarding to see how generous this county is. Also, I'm going to mention something. Last spring, we had heard that our legislators were trying to pass Senate Bill 2510 and House Bill 5101. And that involved cutting the funds to our CTE, ACE, IB, dual enrollment, all those things that give us an edge over the other schools. I want to mention that Senator Bradley worked extremely hard to keep that cut from happening. It should have never been proposed, but there were counties that are districts in other counties that misused the funds that they were given. Clay did not misuse the funds. What we were given went to those programs. So instead of throwing the baby out with the bathwater, the point was to save all of that. And if we had not had Senator Bradley fight extremely hard, there's no telling where we would have ended up. So I just want to give her a shout out for helping Clay. And last, one thing that I haven't heard anybody talk about with our 2 new buildings is that, in fact, my office is in St. Augustine, World Golf Village, and I watched Tecoy High School, which is relatively new, a couple years old. I watched, as I went to the office this year, all the portables that were brought in. And it's just something that we all have had to live with. But the fact that this board and our operations division, Bryce Ellis, know that we don't want portables, but obviously it costs a lot of money. We put up 2 buildings. We didn't pull in portables. We put up buildings, and they're amazing buildings. And I hope that if anybody has a chance to see them, that you'll take the time to do so. But that's the direction we're trying to go in. We're going to do what we can financially to build and stay away from the portables. That's our goal. So I just want people to recognize that we made that achievement. Thank you.
Ms. Hanson.
I want to talk a little bit about rooms. There are districts. Rooms is a new app, an app that we have that enables teachers to talk to parents. See, they took all the volume from Mr. Broski's mic and put it on mine, because I'm way back here. But on a serious note, if you talk to people in other districts who have had rooms for more than 1 year, it's a very dynamic tool. I had a chance of looking at one of my kindergarten friends. They had a kid in kindergarten, and the teacher was able to communicate the good things going on during the day and the updates on the behaviors we may have to work with. Parents were zipping back and forth in rooms. She did it during planning. She did it lunchtime. She's very, very excited about rooms. And so what I would say is to beg your patience. One, as a teacher, when you walk into school and you have a zillion things to do, rooms was not a priority for many teachers. I know this week 10 teachers who got around to doing it this week. It is a difficult thing when teachers have to implement something brand new, but this something by next year is going to be a time saver and a communication trophy for us. So if you could just bear with the teachers as some come on board, some struggle coming on board, and understand that it will be fine-tuned more than likely by next year. Just give it a year. It's the same thing with the Chipmunk app. There are many districts that use it and have been using it successfully. We just came in at a time when so many people went on at one time that it crashed, which of course is our responsibility, and the district and transportation reacted the best they could to it. So all of these new things, with patience, are going to be perfected by next year. So the other thing I wanted to talk about is I'd like to talk about when I ran for office. I said a lot of things, but I'd also like to talk about how naive I was when I was talking. Like my husband said, there's always 1,000 critics in the room. Always. It hurts my heart that I now know the enormous impact and the enormous responsibility this board and our district holds, not only to our teachers, to our students, to safety. I lay awake at night and I think about how wrong I was when I ran for office, because we are a board of 5. I'm not a person of 1 talking. We're a board of 5 with 40,000 students, thousands of teachers, thousands of support personnel. We talk about teachers needing more money. We rarely talk about support, who, since I've been on this board, we brought them up to $15 plus. It was abysmal when I came on this board. People were making $9, $10, $12, $11 an hour as adults working with our special needs population. So I want to just tell you, comes a little bit of shame about when I ran, how easy I thought it would be to make changes. But with that comes an immense amount of pride with how well strong teams working together can make huge changes for the better. When you think about being the largest employer in Clay County, and the fact that I could go home, and I have a list at home of 32 major things that this board and district have accomplished since I was elected, I'm very proud. Do we have work to do? Yes. Do we have work as a community? Yes. Would I love for all of our parents to be so involved that I wish I didn't have to talk to parents? Yes. Would I love for our teachers, hypothetically, to make a living wage when my daughter's a teacher? When I was a teacher? Yes. But I can tell you only so much can be done. We went 15 years of just terrible pay. And in the last 3 years, this board has moved forward with every dime we could for teacher salaries. We will always do the best for our teachers. We also move forward with our staff salaries, bus driver salaries. Sometimes it's really, really hard to focus on what's done right, because the thing that's done wrong is so easy to talk about. So I apologize on behalf of myself, but I'm also very proud of where I stand now with this board and the district. And I want you to know that I have never, ever sat up here knowing that we were not doing the best for every single person in this educational community. That's it.
Thank you. I just want to piggyback off of what Ms. Clark said. Speaking to our delegation and CTE, I would say that Senator Bradley and Sam Garrison, Representative Garrison, both combated that very well with ACE and CTE. I have to give both of them credit because they both had a big influence in that as far as Clay County is concerned. And I would like to say, I would go as far as to say Clay County is who actually saved that funding because of our representation. So if you have the time, sometimes we as elected officials only hear the negatives. And like Ms. Hanson said, a lot of people don't focus on the positives. So if you have time, I would encourage all of you to just send them a thank you note or an email of, hey, thank you for thinking about us, because CTE is very impactful here in Clay County. I had the opportunity actually to visit my first school today of the school year, Middleburg High School, and I jokingly said it was bring your husband to work day because I told him I had to stop by there, and he said, can I come? And I said, yeah, because we both graduated from there, and he wanted to see the changes that put him where he is today. And so it was really cool to take him back several years. I won't mention, but and to see the impact that our trades are having with our kids and our community. They graduate and they're making stellar money, but they're doing what they love, and they have the certificates to do it, and they're going into our communities, our backyard, starting businesses, working for their families, or our small businesses here in Clay County. So I think understanding that CTE and vocational, whatever you want to call it, trade, is important to us. There are a lot of changes that the board is making, a lot, and all at once. I understand that. And we are going to have a bumpy road with some of these changes. We've listened to all of you parents, all of you teachers. Focus is coming back. That's one of the big pushes that that was actually one of the very first conversations I had with Mr. Broski. Was our teachers want focus back. Like we've got to, look at this. We obviously had more things in front of us, but that was something that we heard you about. We've heard you about the one-way communicate, or the one-stop shop for communication. There are going to be hiccups. There are going to be glitches. This is technology. It is programming, and there is going to be those same things when we switch from focus to synergy. So, like Ms. Hanson said, I would beg for patience, because you've asked for changes. We're trying to do our best in doing that. Ms. Dennis, with the technology, with our changes of Apogee and our website, we're trying to be more transparent. We heard your voices on that. Just this week alone, we've tried to update that. Internal auditors, this budget could be a bigger crisis than what some of you think it is, and it's not ideal. But I will tell you, and I have to tell you, with the leadership, from principals to staff to our board, this isn't I don't think any of us were like, hey, can you cut the budget? Like, we need a curveball. We need to figure something, we need entertainment. No, none of us would have wished this on any of this. This is on any of us. This is not what we wanted. So I think that this has been very smooth, considering I know it affects so many people. But I am thankful we were able to keep jobs in this process. And as far as teacher pay, without getting in trouble, I just want to say that is a priority of this board. And we have proven that time and time again. How that's paid out is bargained and negotiated. So what we bring to the table is decided essentially between two parties, right? But if you don't agree on one side or the other, then things can change. But I will tell you, the last 3 years have been historically paid out. Now, are we where we want to be? No, but there was a lot of negligence. Well, I shouldn't call it negligence, sorry. A lot of many years of where we don't want to be, I guess I should say. So we're playing catch up, and you have to have money to play catch up. But I want our teachers to know that we hear you, and we are doing everything we can do without essentially going bankrupt, because you have to do a little at a time. But again, when we had it, we gave it. I want to be very clear on that without getting in trouble. And then as far as fundraising, we are trying, with these changes, we're trying to be creative, and creativity takes time. We are trying to find ways for you as individual schools to fundraise, trying different ways to help all of you. So with that, there are challenges, but I've been talking with our attorney office, I guess, and we're working on some things, and we've passed some policies to bring back boosters. So I want all of you to understand that even though we are in the predicament that we're in, we are still trying. If we hit a wall, we try to find another route. So I don't want you to think that we're just throwing our hands up and saying, okay, this is it. I also would like to say that, I have a lot to say apparently tonight, that some of us board members talk to our delegation as often as we can. Some of us are very involved and trying to talk to people about education and public education. They are hearing our concerns. We'll see how it pans out, but I want you to know that we don't just show up to 2 meetings a month. We are trying to actively help and trying to actively do our part to help teachers, because one way or another, we have family who either works in this district, attends in this district, or somehow is affected by all of this. So I don't want you to feel that it falls on deaf ears, is what I'm saying. And I think that's it.
Can I
So,
add something to that, Ms.
yeah,
Skipper?
Yeah, it was a mouthful.
I was with Senator Bradley today, and she said, and I had to really think about my response, what's the most important thing to you? And we had a very candid, kind of long conversation about master teacher pay. So when Ms. Skipper says, if we ever get an opportunity, I'm thinking people just kind of shut their door to me now because they really don't want to hear me when I come in. But when we get an opportunity, we speak to the people that are actually able to make those changes, and we speak with passion. And that's all I wanted to add to yours, Ms. Skipper.
Yes, yeah. All right, and that is it. This meeting's adjourned. Board members, we have